Good morning, YouTube. So, yet again, another mod for the Type R. It seems like it's never ending, but eventually, good things have to come to an end. But today, we are putting in Radium catch cans. That's right, baby. I got the dual catch can kit, one for the PCV, one for the, I forget what the other one's called. Either way, I got both of them. I didn't want any oil in the system, and I wanted for it to look dope. So I just realized I'm probably gonna have to take out my strut bar because it's kind of in the way, but we are going to be putting both of those catch cans in, and I'm gonna go over the process for how to do that. First off, I figured I'd go over what's in the box with the beautiful R engine bay in the background, and I have already broken the seal, but I have not opened the box yet. So we have a lot of paper. Don't care about that. We have 2 catch cans wrapped in paper. Just kidding, I would never throw those. We have hose. We have brackets, I think. We have hardware. We have more hose. And more hose. And I think there's one more hose. Nope, okay. Hopefully I'm supposed to cut that one, because if not, then I don't have enough hose. Anyways, that's what's in the box, and let's go ahead and unwrap it all. Here's about everything that comes in the box: the 2 stunningly beautiful Radium catch cans, the 2 brackets, the hoses, which will be attached up here for a super OEM look, and then all of the, wait, did I say hoses? I meant like hose adapters. And then here's all the hoses. And then of course I didn't really want to unwrap it, but there are all the fittings for everything. So first I'm going to tackle the PCV side, and then second I'm going to tackle this side on the intake. Just to let you guys know, I will be following the Radium instructions they have posted on their website. Mine may differ just a little bit because I have the strut bar, but just as a kind of keeping it simple, I'm going to follow the instructions and basically make a video out of it, so maybe it'll be easier to follow. I don't know, and interesting to watch. So step 1 here is going to be to remove all 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the engine cover 10mm bolts. Just for ease and visibility, I went ahead and removed the strut bar up top, and if you guys have a strut bar, recommend removing it so we can get to the PCV easier, and if not, then you can skip this step. I'm just trying to figure this out. I've already done this on mine. Next thing you're gonna want to do, unsnap all of these little connections here on all 4 of the coil packs, and then there's a little tab up here. You're gonna push that back, pull this harness up, and then here there's a little thing, and you can see it kind of slides in there, so just slide it out and set it up here. It makes it easier to get to the PCV line right back there. So with this harness loose, it's really hard to see, but back there you can see there's a little hose clamp. So you just kind of have to trust yourself. You'll put your little pliers down there, and then if you kind of wiggle it back and forth, there it is, hose clamp. Then there's another one way down there, right there, you can barely see it. Grab both sides with the end of the pliers, and then slowly slide the hose clamp, wiggle it up best you can, and once that's out of the way, you should be able to pull the hose right out, and then after that, the hose will not be reused and we'll be ready to start installing the new catch can. PCV hose out. Next thing we're gonna do, remove these 2 bolts on the fuel line bracket cover. Emitter socket makes the job super easy. Now you can see we have the OEM fuel line exposed. So next to what you want to do is this bracket right here needs to come off so we can pull the fuel line away. We're going to unclip it down here, pull it this way. 2 bolts will be back there so we can pull off this mounting bracket, which is where catch can number 1 will secure to. I didn't break the tab this time. As you can see right here, if I can get this fuel line out of the way, all you have to do is press that tab down, which will be up here, and it'll fold down so you can pull the line out of the way. Then once we unclip this, you can see right, come on, came right down in there, the 2 10mm bolts. We're gonna pull those off, get this bracket out so we can put the catch can in. All right, so with the bracket out of the vehicle, next thing you're gonna do, take the bracket for the catch can that goes over by the fuel line, which is gonna be this one. You can see the smaller holes along extension here versus this one, which mounts to the motor mount area. And you're going to secure it to the top here with these 4 screws. And then once you're done with that, you're going to take these 6AN banjo fittings, screw them on there, and be ready to install the catch can in the vehicle. So, as you can see, everything is all installed. Radium fittings should be facing this way, off to the left of the can. Torqued to 25 foot-pounds as is stated on the top. And we're ready to put the can in the car. So in order to do that, we're going to take the fuel line bracket, which is this one's actually the cover. We're going to slip the bolts through these 2 locations here and put it all back in the car. All right, guys, can number 1 is in place. And with that done, I went ahead and snapped the fuel line back into place here and there just to keep it from flopping around too much. Next thing we're gonna do is put the barbed ends on the hoses over there. And then we're going to put the AN fittings on and get it all plumbed up. Got one of the catch cans in. Boom, there it is, looking amazing. Only thing that I'm a little disappointed in is the colors on the banjo bolts are green, and unfortunately, like the rest of the stuff in the R is red. So, I mean, it kind of clashes just a little bit. I wish they would have given you an option to make it red, but I mean, green's their color, so as long as it works. But as you can see, it's all in. Got the AN lines all fitted up, looking pretty. And they're all hooked up onto the sides. So as you can see here, the top fitting is gonna go straight into the valve cover here. And the side fitting is gonna go back down into the intake manifold down there as per the instructions. One suggestion I have when doing your fittings up here is you're probably gonna need a vise. I wrapped a towel around my fitting. Definitely you're gonna need some oil to lube up the fitting as you press the hose down on there. It takes a lot of force. And I also used a hairdryer to heat up the hose to make it more malleable. Without those, I mean, it probably would have been nearly impossible for me to do it. The amount of force required to get that on there was very high. So that made it a lot easier, went by real quick. And that's why we have this can installed. So for the next one, we're gonna go ahead and put the bracket together and remove these 2 bolts here and get started. 4 provided screws, once again, we have the catch can assembled. Next, we're going to want to put these banjo fittings on again. These fittings here will be facing a slightly different orientation. The one on the front will be facing straight towards the right, and then this one on the top will be facing almost towards the front of the can. I believe it needs to be pushed over to the right just a little bit. The can fully prepped. These 2 19mm bolts down here are gonna need to get removed. Right, can number 2 is officially installed on the car. So I went ahead and chose to rotate my fittings here just to make it a little bit easier to install the barbs. But I'm thinking that I may run into an issue that when I put the lines on, they may contact each other, so I might have to rotate them again, but this is just how I have them for now. So after this, we are going to get the barbs all set up with the hose and get the crossover tubes installed and get working on it. All right, so I've done a little bit of this off camera as I've been trying to figure out things. So I think last we left off, I said we installed the can. As you can see, the entire intake air box is out. So basically what we needed to do was remove the, where'd it go? Hard line for the CCV, crankcase ventilation. So this hard line here, which normally sits upside down like that, normally sits like that, this had to come out. So this is for this specific section right here is for the CCV, and then this is a coolant line that's connected to it. So Radium actually provides you with more hose to make a coolant line. It's not quite as clean as the stock system, but it works just fine and prevents the rubbing from the PRL intake, as you can see here. So that's awesome. They also give you the option to, all the way down there where that hose clamp is right there, use the coolant line provided to go down there to here, which you can run along the engine right there. But I chose to do it this way because I didn't want to take out all this extra crap, and that's fine with me. I'm sure worst case, if I need to, I can find a way to route it a little cleaner, but just for now, it works and it looks plenty good enough for me. I guess what I could have done was actually route it down here underneath this hose, down near the downpipe, and then come back up into here. But I mean, there's always the possibility that it could get next to the downpipe, and that just increases the amount of heat that the coolant line is exposed to, further increasing possible chances of something breaking. So I'd say this is a happy medium. So easiest way for me to do it was to pull out the stock air box. I got access to this. I had a big towel laying around so that way I could catch all the coolant, and unfortunately I spilled a little bit down here because more came out than I thought would. But I was able to wipe it up and not that much came out from up here. So you use the provided barb, provided you're installing the CCV, to link these two together, and then all the hose clamps that are provided will go there. So at this point, now that that's taken care of, I should be able to reinstall the stock air box, and we can take care of the routing for the catch can. Intake is back in. Put the cover back on for the fuel box thing. I don't remember what it's called. So the only thing left to do is to plumb up the lines from this catch can, and then will be all set. So I'm really excited for this part because it utilizes these two bolts and has the lines that come across here. It looks super clean. So now that we're here, just gonna go ahead and remove these two bolts on the inlet pipe here, 210 millimeters. These bolts will not be reused with the new kit. However, you should definitely keep them in case you decide to uninstall. All right, here you have it. 2 Radium catch cans installed on the 2019 Honda Civic Type R. So I believe I went over these two tubes. Just take these clip things here. They come in 4 individual bags. The smaller side on top, the bigger side on the bottom for the spacer. And the tubes just clamp down and you use those extra 2 screws. And then with the big long piece of hose, you're just going to cut it to size to fit here. On my intake, since you have the PRL, it uses a 90-degree here, and then of course the 90-degree here. If you have like an InGen or something intake, it will just take a slightly longer piece of this hose, since the piping is metal instead of silicone like this. Same with the stock intake, it's the same setup as this. And then of course have to make the things here and fittings. You have to make those same as we did for the other catch can, and then just cut those hoses to length as well. For this vacuum line right here, this one on the right, it's very small. I shifted the hose clamp over and bent the line back just a little bit for these to fit properly without rubbing. Highly suggest doing that for proper fitment, so that way it doesn't rub and break the line. I did lose a hose clamp here. I'm going to grab it after, but other than that, everything is all set. We do need to reinstall the Blitz bar back onto the car. Ha, that totally rhymed. But as you can see, everything is looking nice and cherry. Looks amazing. I haven't turned on the car yet, but I'd presume the cans work awesome. I'm sure in a later video, I'll update you guys on how they perform and if I catch anything, but overall looking amazing and peace of mind when I'm out racing. So that also rhymed. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video, how to install the Radium catch cans on the 2017 to 2019 Honda Civic Type R FK8. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me, leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Like I said, thanks again for watching this video. Please hit the like button if you like the video, subscribe if you like the channel, lots of content to come, and hit the notification bell to be notified, and browse the channel for more videos. Thanks guys, peace out.